Germany suspends permits to export military weapons to Israel. Reports coming out around this. Let's talk about exactly what we know so far. All right, so Reuters has the story on this one. Let's put this up on the screen. It says that Germany has stopped approving war weapons exports to Israel, according to sources. So it goes into the article saying this is coming out of Berlin. Germany has put a hold on new exports of weapons of war to Israel while it deals with legal challenges. This is according to a Reuters analysis of data and a source close to the economic ministry. The source close to the ministry cited a senior government official as saying it had stopped working on approving export licenses for arms to Israel due to legal and political pressure from legal cases arguing that such exports from Germany breached humanitarian law. First and foremost, I just want to say that this is something that I'm very much a fan of. Um, I have been calling for something like this to be happening in America for quite some time now. In fact, we have a law like this in America called the Leahy Law. It is a law that is supposed to do just what this being described here in this article about Germany's what they're doing, how we shouldn't be sending weapons to a country who is violating humanitarian law. We have a law like that on the books here in America. Ro Khanna, congressman out of California, was on a show called Breaking Points back in the winter where he was discussing exactly this. Let's play the clip of that conversation really quick.
The aid should be following the Leahy Law. I don't understand why this is controversial. We have a law in the United States. It's called the Leahy Law. It says that any aid to any country has to uphold human rights standards, international law standards. The problem is that the State Department hasn't been enforcing the Leahy Law in cases. And what I've said is that that has to be enforced. If we are going to pass an aid package, we should explicitly say that it should be upholding the Leahy Law.
So this is something that I've been arguing for quite some time now. Israel has time and time and time again been violating international law. It is something that has been very apparent from the very beginning. One thing in particular, it is a violation of international law to collectively punish a population for a terrorist attack by a group. So after October 7th, and Israel said that they were going to go after Hamas for what happened on October 7th, there is absolutely nothing that is recognized as far as international law standards are concerned that would allow for Israel to go about their absolute destruction of Gaza that they have since then. So since they've gone out and essentially, destroyed every single building that you can think of in Gaza, destroyed every single hospital, destroying all of these schools, bombing refugee camps, starving an entire population, not letting food in, not letting medical supplies in. You honestly, you just name it. They have violated international law in so many different ways. Even the weapons that they've used, using banned substances like white phosphorus that has been banned, like for decades now, as far as war is concerned. They're using it on civilian populations. You cannot find too many examples of where Israel hasn't been violating international law. And so the United States has been violating its own law, the Leahy Law, by continuing to send arms over to Israel. It seems like Germany is now finally coming to its senses a little bit, deciding that they might be halting arms exports there. But again, this is just a report right now. Germany hasn't made this official as of today. I want to make that very clear. But just kind of like to reaffirm this point a little bit, even the UN, is accusing Israel of blatant disregard of international law. Let's put this up on the screen. This is from the Independent here, saying that the UN human rights chief accuses Israel of showing blatant disregard for international law, and Israel denies all such allegations in Gaza as far as the West Bank and East Jerusalem. But here in this article, it goes on to say, Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem and the regime associated with them have been established and are being maintained in violation of international law. Now, this is the president, Nawaf Salam, speaking on behalf of the panel. This is the panel of judges for the UN who, in fact, deemed that, yes, what Israel is doing is violating international law. This is not even talking about their recent expansion into the West Bank, where they are now occupying more land than they ever have been, just putting up more and more settlements, to where Biden kind of meekly came out and condemned it months ago, and then did absolutely nothing, to actually like quell the expansion into the West Bank. Not mentioning at all the strikes that Israel has done in Syria or in Iraq. These are like sovereign countries that Israel is striking inside of. They are doing military strikes inside of these countries. Absolutely no one really talking about it as far as like the Western world is concerned. It just goes underneath the rug. These are violations of international law. This is not even to talk about the times where just recently, where they had attacks in the capital city of Lebanon, in Beirut, and also in the capital of Iran, in Tehran. And again, none of that is even to say what they've done in regards to the genocide in Gaza. They are just habitually violating international law. They have completely disregarded all things international law. I am glad to see that Germany is taking this step. I think the US should follow suit if they had any spine. They've since shown that they don't, or at least I should say the Biden administration has shown that he does not. But this actually isn't the first country to do something like this recently. It's kind of a little bit of a domino effect coming right now. We can put this up on the screen. This is saying that the UK has recently had a suspension of some arms to Israel. Now, they kind of go into this article talking about how the United Kingdom's decision to suspend some arms exports to Israel has angered Israeli officials, confounded the UK's chief rabbi, and even disappointed many human rights groups that say it doesn't go far enough. Also, you can see up here, this is from the Times of Israel. Canada says that they recently suspended 30 permits for arms shipments to Israel. So these are kind of like more meek things here, but in the article it says we won't have any form of arms or parts of arms be sent to Gaza. This was Melanie Joy adding that she ordered a review of all weapons contracts with Israel and other countries. So some countries are taking some approach here. Obviously, other countries have cut off diplomatic ties. We've heard about, Colombia, Spain, Ireland, other countries have, in fact, stepped up in some way. But this is a necessary domino effect as far as I'm concerned. What Israel has done over this last, 10 months and 11 months actually now, and I'm sure that you can kind of go back even further and further into history to see how they've treated Palestinian people over the decades that have come before this here. But it is obvious that this is the direction that it needs to go. It's just whether or not the countries of the Western world will have the political will or the political desire to actually do, in fact, increase the pressure on Israel to hopefully force them into being what they deserve to be, which is a pariah state, and hopefully somehow force these people to stop what they're doing in Gaza and in the West Bank. And hopefully also preventing a larger regional war that it seems like Benjamin Netanyahu is hell-bent on starting right now with Lebanon and Iran. Thank you for watching this video of Independent Thought. If you liked the conversation, please go ahead and give the video itself a like, and be sure to subscribe for future episodes on the channel.